You've poured your heart and soul in your latest track. The production is good, the mix is balanced, but there's one final hurdle that stands between you and a release-ready master. The mastering process. In 2025, AI has become a go-to for countless producers. But with so many out there, which one can you actually trust to deliver a professional sound? Today we're putting up two of the biggest names in AI mastering head-to-head. The veteran Landr Mastering plugin against the convenient Distrokid Mixea. We'll break down their features, their cost, and most importantly, their sound. And be sure to stick around, because we'll also dive into their subscription services and benefits, and how that might change the game entirely. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which platform is right for you. Now grab some headphones, and let's get comparing. Alright, first let's talk about Landr. They've been in the AI mastering business for a long time. Over a decade, actually. It was introduced as part of their subscription service now known as Landr Studio. Now, to help further push one of their signature services, Landr bundled up their AI mastering into a plugin version that you can use in your DAW. Now for Distrokid's Mixea. Distrokid has also been around for a long time too, as one of the most popular distribution options for independent artists. Then to offer more to their existing users and to attract new ones, they included Mixea as an addition to the subscription, a convenient way to master your tracks in a flash on the Distrokid website. Now let's get into the real comparison of these two AI mastering titans. And let's go ahead and start with Landr Mastering. And here's our reference track for today. Alright, now we'll be applying Landr Mastering, where it's waiting for our audio playback, selecting the loudest part of our song, and just hit play. And just like that, we are all done. That could be the final step there. Without touching anything, let's just hit play. Already sounds great, but of course, Landr Mastering has a ton of different features for us to go through. And I will always recommend putting on the gain match here so our ears are not being fooled by just the difference in loudness. And now as I'll be putting on my headphones. And I recommend everybody else do the same too. Alright, so right now we're on balance, which if we hover over it, we can see it creates a controlled master with a focus on balance, clarity, and depth. Going over to warmth, we can create a warm vintage master with soft highs for a thick and smooth sound. Definitely a big difference there with headphones. Finally, we have the open option over here where we can create a modern open sound with an emphasis on punch and presence. And this is where it's going to all depend on your individual track. What do you want to create and how do you want to get there? For this track specifically, I think warmth may sound the best, especially on headphones. You guys can probably hear what I'm talking about here. Now we can go on over to the equalizers and change everything up from there. Increase the lows, mid, increase everything. Why not? I like that. Add some more clarity here without going too overboard. That's nice. Now over here is going to be mainly around vocals, which obviously we have a vocal pad in the background, but that's pretty much it. So I can increase that a little bit. And the de-esser here we'll leave alone for right now. Now we can move on over to the stereo field, where I want to put a little bit more focus, which will help out with those transients in my drums. And the more we increase the focus, the more that will go towards our central elements here, like our kick, snare, and other vocals. Now I'll go the opposite way to increase the stereo. From there, let's move on over to the dynamics, which I do want to add a little bit more compression here, my own personal style. But I want to keep those transients, so I can go over to the character and turn that to the left to focus more on the punch of the drums. The compression and the character are a really good way to make sure it's not getting too squished of a track. Increase the saturation here to get some more presence. Even that sounds great. Now moving on over to the loudness knob. The loudness knob could be seen as the most important knob here. Now we're only at minus 12 dB here because we're on gain match. Turning that off just to remind you guys, we're all the way back up to where we should be. So we're leaving that on for right now while I test things out. That sounds pretty good. And the loudness meter not only shows us that we're at a minus 0.1 dB, but it also has our perceived loudness here at minus 8.1 LUFS. So one of the great things about having your mastering plugin inside of your DAW is that you can make changes in real time. For example, after doing my mastering here, I can hear that maybe the drums could be hitting a little bit harder. Specifically, maybe even the snare. You know what, bring it all up as a whole actually, why not? You may have to go back and adjust certain things inside of Landr Mastering plugin as well. But that's one of the main benefits of having a plugin like Landr Mastering inside of your DAW. You can make tweaks in real time hearing your final master. And now that we did that at the max loudness, we can turn back on gain match here, and then use the bypass button over here to get a true A and B comparison. Here's the track without Landr Mastering. And then the same part gain matched with Landr Mastering. I will have a more in-depth comparison later on, but right now I think the track's sounding very glued together and very cohesive. Let's go ahead and export the track with Landr Mastering on, which now we can move on over to Mixea. Alright, let's sign into Distrokid real quick. We can go on over to the apps over here, we can find Distrokid and then Mixea, where we can now drop the unmastered version of our track. And after a short period of time here, we are ready to hear our master. Even just cycling between mastered and original, we can see a very big difference here in the thickness and fullness of the track. But of course, we're not here to visually see it, we want to hear what it actually sounds like. Here's the original. Now for the mastered version. Now in post and editing this video, I'm going to lower the volumes there because I can't really gain match here. That's one thing to mention. You can cycle between mastered and original, but obviously a big dip in volume, so it's not exactly a fair comparison. And now we can look down below where we've got two options, the intensity and EQ. That's it. So let's see what we can do with that. Very squished there. Warmer just sounds like it's a bit more muffled. Brighter does bring in some pretty good clarity though. So I do think that the best way to go about it here, I think I liked the intensity in the middle the most, and we'll give it a bit of a boost here by going to the middle into the slight brighter range. Then just hit download master track, and with those two sliders there, everything does sound great. It's a very convenient option, which brings us to the next section of our video, the ABC comparison. We're gonna really put everything head to head here. Alright, so I've got all three audio files right here, the unmastered version, Landr Mastering, and then Mixea. And all I'll be doing for the first one is just normalizing the unmastered mix. I'm once again touching a little bit on the visibility. Very different audio files here. And this part's gonna be all you guys, okay? I'm gonna shut up here. There's going to be a straight ABC comparison going through different parts of the track. This is the real final battle here. And that's just a raw comparison here. Everything we've talked about up until this point really means nothing unless we talk about how everything sounds. I mean, that's it. You can kind of decide who wins right then and there. So before we go any further in this video, before we talk about anything more about prices, subscriptions, anything, drop a comment down below on which master you think did better. Hell, maybe you like the unmastered version, I don't know. But now it's time to talk about the costs. So the basic plan for Distrokid would be $22.99. Not to mention additional charges for the YouTube Content ID, Shazam access, cover license fee, and Leave a Legacy all have separate charges. Depending on your individual needs as an artist, the price per year might go up. But then to add Mixea, you're looking at an additional $99 for that year. Over 4 times the amount of their main service, equaling $123 for the whole year. And now for Landr, and this is where things get real interesting. Now one, you've got the option to buy the plugin outright with a perpetual license. So you make one payment and it's yours forever. That's already going to be appealing to a lot of different people. The other option is going to be Landr Studio Pro subscription that comes with a ton of different benefits, where you not only get unlimited use of the Landr Mastering plugin, you also get a vast sample library, premium plugins, collaboration tools, and finally, music distribution, which puts it in direct competition with Distrokid, an all-in-one solution that could potentially replace other subscriptions too. Now here's the caveat for a lot of different people, okay? I didn't want to mention it right away because I want everyone to build their own opinions before hearing this. I am a Landr affiliate. I work very closely with Landr, and if that makes me lose all credibility in your eyes, I understand. I totally get it. But listen, take away every single dollar that I've made with Landr, and I would still be singing their praises. Don't let the fact that I make a small commission take away anything from this amazing service. I mention it because with the link in my description, I can also get you an additional 20% off of Landr Studio Pro, making it $123 plus additional fees for Distrokid and Mixea versus just over $150 for Landr Studio Pro. But once again, you don't even need to use that link. It's totally fine with me. I just want you guys to have the best stuff possible, and I can get you a small discount too. So after all that, where does it put us? I mean, it's really all up to you at this point, you know, you've got all the facts, you've heard the ABC comparison. Personally, for me, the main selling point is that you've got an AI mastering service in a plugin in your DAW. That's going to be a huge leg up on a web-based service only. On a web-based service, you would have to constantly be going back and forth, bouncing, changing, tweaking, exporting again. It'd just be a whole big hassle. But it is undoubtedly the more convenient option. If you just want to plug in your track and then just hit go, you're done. If you're just a beat maker like myself and you want to hear your tracks in a louder volume, you could just buy the plugin outright, which my link will also get you that 20% off, and never have to worry about subscription. But at the same time, if you have stuff like Splice or Arcade or anything like that and Distrokid, everything is built inside of Landr from start to finish. Samples, plugins, collaboration, mastering, distribution, all included in one service for under $200 plus my discount. And again, I want to hear from you guys. Did you like the Landr Mastering better, the Mixea, or maybe even neither? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.